Hello and welcome to Game Soup, Classic Analysis NES. This is Joe.
This is Ed.
And in this series, we like to go over old games and we analyze what we like and don't like about them from a design standpoint. And this episode's theme is monster games, and the first game up in this episode is Castlevania 3.
Alright, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. So I've actually never played this game before, but you're pretty familiar with it, right?
Yeah, I've played it a lot when I was a kid, and I actually beat it recently, but I use save states because, well, I don't have as much time as I used to.
Yeah, and if the first
game... I always
game...
wanted to finish the game.
I've played a little bit of the first game, and if that's any indication, this game is frustratingly, well, maybe not frustratingly, but very, very difficult.
It is difficult. It's a little bit less frustrating than the first one.
But there are still Medusas, right?
Yes.
That was always the clincher for me.
I refused to play the first one. I beat it legitimately one time, and I decided I would never play the game again.
Ooh.
I promised myself I would never pick it up again, and I haven't.
Just because of the Medusas then?
No, not the Medusas. It was Dracula, the last boss.
Oh, okay. What's that?
That's a power-up. That's how the power-ups are in this game. You hit the candles, and it'll drop out like a chandelier-looking thing, and that'll make your whip get stronger, and when you get a second one, it gets longer.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
That's a little bit of an archaic design. They probably should just start you with the long whip because those things always appear very early and very quickly, and the game is balanced for you having the stronger whip and the long whip. So having the two upgrades. So it's sort of like the upgrades in a shmup game, a shoot 'em up, like like a game where you play as an airplane, and I guess I don't need to explain shmups. But
bounced around you being as strong as oh god.
Yeah.
I quit.
There's a little hint that he's going to be there, but you'll see the next one coming up. They kind of give you a hint that that's what happens, and they don't punish you too hard because you can't get knocked down into a pit right away.
Okay. By
those, so they kind of set it up here. I think they do a good job of it. Also, the background here is really pretty awesome, especially for back in the day.
Yeah, that's
the whole stained glass thing.
Really detailed for an NES game. So I didn't realize, but these guys kind of blend right in. Also, the jumping. Okay, so the jumping is just like Castlevania 1 style jumping.
Right.
Which is
bad.
Which is more realistic than most regular games. Most games jumping, but is horrible to control.
Right.
So absolutely archaic. Definitely not the best choice. And it's okay. I guess we don't need that, do we?
No, you don't really need it. So you press up and attack to use your special weapon. Do we have a glitch here? Oh no.
We were just flashing, I guess.
Yeah, it was just flashing.
Wall turkey?
No, there's not there.
No.
There is in the first game. There's a wall turkey in a similar situation to that.
Okay, you get stuck on the stairs. You can't jump off the stairs. You just have to ascend and hope that you don't.
Right.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of archaic designs in this, which is part of the reason why we wanted to cover this game.
So, does this game do anything different than Castlevania 1 as far as just like the general basic mechanics like we're seeing here, like the holy water, the jumping, ladder climbing?
The basic control mechanics, no.
They're all the same.
It's almost exactly the same, but they do have different characters that you can play as.
Okay.
So Trevor, which is basically the Simon type of character in the game, the main type of character, with the whip, he controls it almost exactly the same, if not exactly the same as in Castlevania, but you get other characters in this game. One of them, actually, I think two of the other characters, you can actually control their jumps in midair, and they control a little bit better.
Oh, okay. So this is actually conscious choice now then, to have these crappy jumps. So they can actually change it by this point. What is that? Stop.
That's a stopwatch. That actually stops the enemies for 5 seconds, which is pretty nice. So this is a really brutal area for a first level in a game.
Yep.
Because they have these Medusas, and also these. If they knock you onto these swirly little platforms here, you get knocked down. And if you get knocked down on the bottom bottom area, you just die.
That's great. That's great. Really sadistic game design. Which, I mean, back in the NES days, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, you know.
Yeah, the games were gated by difficulty more than gated by just length.
Yeah.
This game actually is pretty long though, even if you use save states, playing straight through it.
Really?
And it has a password system, so you could potentially play through it in the old days.
Right.
Without having to sit there playing straight through it. That would be really brutal to have to do that. I do love the atmosphere in this game, the backgrounds, and they're really varied, which is something you see in a lot of Castlevania games. There's not too many really repetitive backgrounds, and every level has kind of a different theme and feel to it, and it's all, for the most part, pretty eerie and scary. You know.
You know what this made me think of when we were playing our Portrait of Ruin? Oh my God. I died. Our Portrait of Ruin run through, we were talking about this very same thing.
I'm going to hit those candles up there.
I do?
Because that's where you're going to find power-ups in there. Like, this brings us back around to, I wanted to get back around to that, where the way the power-ups are laid out in this is very archaic, because you're going to get the next power-up very soon.
Okay.
Probably in that candle. Most candles, like half the candles drop the power-ups.
Okay.
Drop those chandelier. I don't know what they are. Maybe they're whips. I don't know.
They don't look like whips.
I never figured out what they actually were supposed to be. So I guess that's kind of a graphical thing. They could have made something more recognizable. I don't know.
Yeah, because
that's a small thing.
When you touch it, it doesn't seem to do anything, and then
right.
I guess your whip flashes, but
yeah,
it's not much of an indicator.
Well, it's longer than the starting whip.
Right.
That's the main thing.
Can you swing it around in this game, or is that?
No, they didn't add that till Castlevania 4.
Now what? I wonder. Oh my god, they respawn.
So they kind of throw all the most annoying enemies at you in the very beginning of Castlevania 3, which would turn off a lot of players to the game, but this is the best game in the NES series. Yeah, you can't duck from that. You gotta whip it.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to be aggressive here.
Oh, okay. Alright, that's not so bad then. So that's an enemy that you see a lot too in the Metroidvania style games.
Yeah.
So I guess this is where a lot of the stuff you see in those games comes from. As far as all these abilities, you know, the axe and the holy water and everything.
Yeah, a lot of this game really originated a lot of special attacks and attack patterns in games.
So I have a dumb question. How do I recover health?
This series, you can't. You might be able to get a wall turkey though. If there might be, I think there's something right there. If you go back,
I would love wall turkey.
I don't think it's wall turkey though. I think there's something here if I remember right. It might be in the top one. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
Oh, does that have to be that precise?
Nah, there's nothing there.
Okay. I tried.
I guess I remembered wrong.
At least you can attack on stairs.
So this atmosphere kind of sets up for what you're about to see, which is the first boss.
Oh god, I don't know if I'm going to survive.
You probably won't.
No.
Because you only have two hit points left. But yeah, I guess to finish off the thought about the whip is the power-ups in the whip is that it's an archaic design, and you want the player to feel like they're being powered up rather than being punished for not having the better weapon. So here you feel like you're being punished for like the first 10 seconds of every life, because you have to level your whip back up.
That kind of seems the wrong way to go about it. It seems completely backwards. You know, as far as treating the player fairly, you know, giving them some sort of inspiration to keep going.
But it's not, and even you can see here, there's even random drops of it, and you only need to get 2 of them to be fully powered up, and you almost always get it right away, so it's not a huge detriment to the game, it's just a weird design choice.
Yeah, it is. I wonder if that was, oh crap, those guys just sort of pop up, and you know, once you're jumping, you can't change your trajectory.
Yeah, you don't want to be jumping around where zombies come out.
Yeah, so you really do have to be careful.
You have to learn.
So half of this game seems to be some sort of memorization, because you have to know where enemies are going to be. You can't jump in certain situations. Okay, what?
So here, what you're supposed to do, you have to memorize it basically. You can stand on that block there, and as he approaches, you would jump over him. So here you can like jump over him here, and then whip him a bunch of times. You can press up and B to throw your knife at him. He also blocks, which is kind of neat. That's kind of a neat thing to have, especially in an old game like this. There hadn't been a lot of bosses like that, I don't think, up until this point.
Yeah, it's really atmospheric. I'm surprised at how much detail they can get out of this. These backgrounds and everything. These Metroidvanias make a lot more sense looking at this.
Yeah, extremely talented artists worked on this.
Okay.
So here's one of the cooler parts of the game is that you can pick which path you want to take. This is kind of the gimmick of Castlevania 3, is that there's branching paths in the game. So you usually you'll wind up, I think, actually I know, you wind up, they wind up converging at points as well. But this is one of the coolest parts of the game. I thought this was one of the cooler things I'd seen.
Now, as somebody who's played Metroidvanias, I know that this level with all the gears and stuff is going to have a lot of Medusas, right?
Yeah. And you're going to pick that one, though.
Pick it?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Because if you beat the level, you get Grant at the end, who's one of the other characters.
Yeah, but I have to deal with Medusas. It's not worth it. It's never worth it.
We're probably going to call this game and go on to the next one before we get to see him.
Yeah.
Because we try to keep these short. We try to keep these classic analysis episodes pretty short.
Look at the graphic of that gear over there. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I always thought that was like a antelope running. I don't know if you can see that.
Antelope
It might take the
running.
mind of a child to see it.
The mind of a child.
Because I saw it when I was a child, so I can never unsee it now.
You mean this big gear here?
Yeah, on the shiny highlight to it.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I do. It's running to the left, it looks like.
Also, go down the stairs all
Okay.
the way and see what happens.
I'm going to die.
You can't go down all the way?
I can't,
Won't let you?
actually.
Oh,
no.
it won't let you. Yeah.
But I
if
assume
you
you
fall,
die.
if you fall down to the bottom, the screen does not scroll down. You just die.
So,
that's
okay.
kind of an archaic.
Yeah.
Another archaic piece of design. There's no actual danger of falling down there, but it's just the bottom of the screen.
Because if you just fall down right here, you die.
Yeah, go ahead and demonstrate for us.
That's ridiculous. No, I have 0 lives left.
Oh, you have 0 lives. Well, we're about done with the episode, I think.
Yeah, we are. That's okay. I'm sure I'm going to die very soon.
We're done with this part of the episode.
This part, yeah. Well, so far so good. If there's no Medusas, oh god, especially with all these stairs and these platforms, yeah, I can see where this would be a real problem. This is,
Yeah, the Medusas haven't shown up yet. I think they show up in the next room.
I guess so far, this seems to be one of the prime examples of difficulty gating. You know, difficulty like sort of lengthening the game artificially.
Right.
Because, oh man, this game has it all. All the examples of things that you probably don't want to do as a modern game designer, but back, you know,
Yeah, back then when you had to extend the length of it, you didn't have as much space on the cartridge.
You really didn't have a choice. If you wanted to make a game that people bought, you know, if people beat your game in an hour,
Yeah,
people are gonna buy it.
they'd want to return it.
Yeah.
I guess you couldn't return games as easily back then either.
I guess not. Also, games were really expensive back then. Like, especially Super Nintendo era as well.
Yeah, especially when you calculate for inflation.
Yeah,
Games were probably closer to like $90, $80, $90.
Yeah, games are cheap
if you
now.
adjust for inflation.
Yeah, like $60 for a game today.
Because back then it would be like 40, 50, 30,
Yeah.
40, 50, somewhere in there.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
if you adjust for inflation, yeah.
Okay. So there's a fair amount of actual platforming here, but it's just made a lot more difficult by the jump mechanics.
Right. Yeah, I really like how they did the string that attaches that
Yeah.
dongle thing on there. I like how they did the graphics on that. I mean, each one of those had to be a sprite in itself.
Yeah.
They didn't have rotating sprites until Super Nintendo.
That's pretty interesting, actually. How they get around some of these, these hardware issues. All right. Well, I guess this has been long enough. I guess we should probably call it at this point before Medusas come to attack us. So, wow. I love this background.
Yeah, just some great atmosphere. Really well done. Graphics, just the control, and some of the old mechanics are a little bit dated, but overall, still a classic game.
Yeah.
And still worth. I think it's still worth checking out, even if you just play through it with save states or just give it a shot. So I guess let's go on to the next game.
All right.
And that game is
Capcom.
Gargoyle's Quest 2.
Now, was there a first Gargoyle's Quest on the NES?
It was for Game Boy, actually.
It was for Game Boy. So there was a sequel to a Game Boy black and white game on the NES. Okay.
Right.
Oh, 1992.
Yeah, this is a little bit near the end of the Nintendo lifespan.
Isn't that about when the SNES came out? Anyway, something like that.
Super Nintendo, I think it was 90 or 91. I think it was 91.
Okay, so this is quite into the life cycle.
Before Human Being appears.
All right.
Monster named Firebrand.
Firebrand.
So Firebrand is our hero, the Gargoyle.
So this is an RPG. You described it to me very briefly before we started, but it's sort of like an RPG, action RPG, which I guess we'll see here.
And what's interesting is that this guy is Lucifer. He's actually the last boss in Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh.
And Firebrand, the main character, is an enemy in Ghosts and Goblins. So they made a spin-off game of the enemies. So you play as some of the bad guys in this game, but they're not. You learn that they're not really bad guys. They're just monsters.
That's really cool. That's not something you see very often. Like a TV spin-off, sort of, but this is a game spin-off.
Right.
Nice. All right.
So this is maybe not one of the more well-known Capcom franchises, but it's well-known enough, and it's also I guess it's overlooked a little bit in the classics, but it's an awesome game. I also love the walk speed. I forgot about that.
You walk so fast. That's great. Wow, Capcom does it right. Square Enix and Parasite Eve. God, you walk like
Yeah, a lot of the times these games just drag on and on.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the way that they make games longer, Just give you really, really slow walk speed.
Right. Yeah, but it kind of turns me off a little bit to a game when it's too slow paced.
Yeah. because you're already talking a lot to all these NPCs and everything. That already takes up a lot of time. You don't need to take up any more by having to just walk around at really slow speed. So is this a zombie? This is a zombie.
Yeah.
Okay. So does this take place in the same universe as
Ghosts and Goblins? Yeah.
Okay.
Except I think we're in the underworld because we're monsters, so it takes place in like an underworld. I'm not sure if there's anything in these.
Well, it certainly appears that, for this being at the end of the life cycle of the NES, graphically it looks really good. It looks like a little bit more comical than Castlevania 3. A little bit more cartoony.
It's a little bit more like it's Capcom. It's a Capcom style, which is we can point out how great the graphics are too.
I mean, those look like
for NES graphics. I think the grass is a little bit too green and distracting.
Yeah,
as far as color goes, but
I was mostly drawn to the coloring. There's just the general, like the shading and the coloring. Like in these trees, you can tell there's roots in the bottom and they're black in the back, and they're different shades of brown. Like there's a lot of detail in these houses and these platforms, and here in particular, like these walls, they look really, they look really nice. Like it's a stupid thing to say, but there's proper shadowing, and I don't know. I'm sure there's some artistic term for it that I don't know, but
yeah, shading.
Shading, yeah.
This is the warrior. Okay, so we have to train here in order to go out into the world.
All right, let's do that then. I'd like to see some combat here.
I guess we have to go behind the counters to talk to them. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. I guess the counter is one tile wide.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. What they probably could have done was...
The training here is too hard for me. So they're setting up that this is a really hard game. It's actually not that hard though, especially for a Capcom game.
Yeah, I was just thinking, when you had to walk around the table, that the counter there, what they could have done was put the NPC in, like put him on the same sprite as the counter itself, so that when you walked up to it, you were actually standing right next to him.
Right.
They could have done that. Oh, wow. Okay. So first thing I noticed is the main character is really detailed.
Yeah, extremely.
Compared to Mega Man, another Capcom title. Wow. Okay. So really detailed. Graphics are really nice.
Yeah, I haven't played this in a long time, but obviously I've played it before because I know how to control it.
Right. So it looks like there's a hovering mechanic, sort of like Peach in Mario 2.
Right. Yeah. You press A to jump, and then I guess that was what we had to do to finish it.
Okay.
So you press A to jump, and then you press A again to hover, and then you see that bar, that very clear indication bar at the bottom that you can see even out of the corner of your eye, which I think is awesome.
That's
I think
nice.
That's really well designed. It tells you how much time you have left in the air.
Yeah, because Mario 2 didn't have that at all. There was no indicator.
Right. This also is a little bit like Wings of V. It controls a little bit like that, like the flutter and that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so I guess it puts us directly out into the world.
Wow. All right.
And you can upgrade your shot in this too.
Oh, cool. Cool.
And you can stick to walls, which
I like that.
Instantly refills your flying. Your flying instantly refills when you hit a wall or when you hit the ground.
That is really cool. That's really cool. And I know it seems like a small detail, but just not having to wait around every 2 seconds to refill a bar,
right,
completely changes the pace of a game.
Right. Yeah, this game, the pacing is really good, and that's something that Capcom does really well in general. Another cool thing,
it looks so smooth,
that you can do in this game is you can do this, drop, and then hover again.
Oh, okay.
So you can stagger your hovers a little bit.
So you have a lot of control over what you're doing here.
Yeah, the movement speed in the actual levels is a little bit slow, and I think I'm going to defend it. I think that the reason why is because the characters are so large, and you're going to need time to react to things happening. So your movement speed needs to be a little bit slower.
Yeah, I can see that.
So you can, because you can't see as much.
Yeah.
But in the overworld, you can see a lot, and also it doesn't really matter. You don't really have to react too quickly to anything.
Right.
So I think here they just wanted to make the graphics a higher resolution. Not higher resolution, but they wanted to make the graphics look better, have bigger sprites. That's what I was looking to say.
That's an interesting choice that you have to make as a designer. Are you going to make your graphics? Are you going to make your sprites bigger in general? But there's a consequence. As you just mentioned, or you're going to make them smaller, but be able to see more of the environment at any one time.
Right.
So especially, as an artist, I'm sure that's a decision that you have to plan. You have to plan out and consider each pros and cons each side.
Right. Yeah. It's the gameplay has to fit the size of the sprites.
Right.
And the way you decide to do the art style. So yeah, really, really good graphics for a Nintendo game. It's Capcom, which they always make the best of of every console and every game that they've made.
In fact, yeah, I most remember Capcom outside of Mega Man, of course, for all their Super Nintendo, their platformers, all the Disney games, like the Mickey Mouse Disney games, and like Capcom made some amazing platformers, you know?
Yeah.
Off of those franchises, Disney and everything. So those are what I remember them mostly for. So I'm surprised that I've never played this, or pretty much. I guess I've heard of it. I forget if I said that earlier or not, but also I really like that bar at the bottom, your flight bar is so comically large. Yeah. Because like you said, you can see it out of your eye, and because it's gray, it's like white and gray on black. It's really easy to see.
Yeah, it's, you know, the colors in the UI is really good.
Yeah.
Well, the lack of color, I guess, yeah. But the value, I guess I would say.
Because you could have made this, and you know, you could have made it a bunch of other colors, and it would have been a lot harder to see, or you could have made it smaller, even just by a little bit. But it's really nice. You can see it out of the corner of your eye.
Right, and we've got the background is a dark color and everything in the foreground. It's very visible.
Yeah, it kind of looks like there's
characters and the things you can stand on, and
it looks like there's a spotlight on you and everything in the foreground, kind of. You know, gives a really good contrast. So like you're never confused about whoa.
Yeah, that was a little confusing. I couldn't actually grab onto that, so that's a little bit better.
That was a little confusing. Okay.
I'm just trying to be careful here. Yeah, because there's spikes down there. It is a little bit hard. The game's a little bit hard, but it's not as hard as like the Mega Man series. Also, I guess it has respawning enemies, which we don't like on GameSoup.
Right. Oh, Mega Man has those too.
Yeah.
Some things we just let slip by, you know?
Yeah, a lot of old games did that.
I don't know anything about that, about respawning enemies. Is that in any way a hardware issue, or is that simply a design choice?
I'm not sure. I really don't know.
I never thought about that. Oh, no.
I wonder where we start. All the way at the beginning. Okay.
We can call it here if you want.
Yeah, so it's a hard game, but yeah. I remember it being not that long, and once you get used to it and once you get good at it, it's not really that long of a game. It's probably maybe 3, 4, 5 hours to play through it. If you're good at these kind of games, probably 3 or 4 hours. And I think it's a perfect length. They could have made it longer, but they have a decent variety in the gameplay, and I mean they made the top-down part and they made the side-scrolling part, and they really squeezed a lot of detail out of especially out of the NES. So overall, it's a very good game. A couple tiny flaws, but overall, really good game.
All right. Well, cool. Well, let's go on to our final game of the day, huh?
So this is our last game on the Monster episode.
1990X, so far in the future. Bang and Marry. What? Wait. We have to go back. We have to go back and read that text again.
What did that say?
The summer of 1990X. Bang and Marry. Mission accomplished.
So can raise on the beach.
Okay.
I'm not sure. They kind of just drop us in here. We've never played this game when we've never played maybe the
Is this
prequel?
a sequel?
There might be a prequel to it. I don't know.
What if it's not a sequel to anything? It's just that weird.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a baseball that's chirping over there.
Is that a...
Bang! It's transmission.
The headquarters.
Oh,
I like
wow.
the graphics.
I do too. It's like anime style. My numbers come up again. The inventor of the Doomsday Bomb.
Professor Plum, okay.
Of course.
I've got to rescue the inventor of the Doomsday Bomb. I don't know if that's a guy you want to be rescuing. And this game is called Clash of Demonhead. So with the worst seizure-inducing title.
Wow. Okay. So is this based on an anime? I don't know anything.
I really don't know.
I assume it is. I don't know. It looks very detailed for a game. You know, for a game that wouldn't be based on anything. Current route 1. Okay.
Okay. So that was our world map, and we've got. Those look like Doomsday Bombs. I think we found the Doomsday Bombs that Professor Plum invented.
Okay. So the first thing I have to say, the jumping is really nice. Like, it's a little bit slow left and right, but it feels really good. You get a lot of height, and you can actually control it really well. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
So far there hasn't been anything too dangerous.
No.
Okay.
Demonhead. That's such a...
You should see the box art for this. It's very serious.
We'll put it up. We'll put it up on the screen here. Yeah, this...
This doesn't match the box art even a little bit.
Is this the right game? Wait, you're not a quitter, are you?
Talking time.
Why is it talking time?
I'm not sure. There's no indication to why that happened.
Yeah, was it something we did?
So maybe this is like Wrath of the Black Mana, where you interrogate guys. Chance at getting to camp without the royal medallions of the 7 governors.
Well, he just told us how to get in. I'm Tom Guygot, the chief of governors, and I'll be waiting for you in my desert fortress on Route 33. He's just giving us exactly what we want to know. All right. I recognize this song. This might be on like top NES video game tracks or something. I've definitely heard it before.
Sounds nice. I mean, as far as video game music goes, as far as NES music goes.
You know, from the title, I was expecting something dark and grim, sort of like the last game we just played, Gargoyle's Quest. But this is not grim at all.
I love Gargoyle's Quest. Did I ever tell you that?
You did. We just talked about it. Oh, okay, so this is cool. So I guess the goal is to get to that mountain at the uppermost side here.
So, okay, so it's got a branching path here. That's neat.
It looks like there's some dead ends. I kind of am curious about what's going to happen here. Let's head towards... Let's go north and then west. See what's in that little purple pool area. I guess is a river.
Give that a shot.
Yeah. What's this? Power. So I'm not sure what power... I guess that's our life bar? Yes.
Yeah. I think you just got hit, but you didn't die.
I did. Huh.
Yeah, it's been flashing the last 3 times you got hit.
What was that thing? It looks like a tooth. Look at these teeth.
It's Timmy the Tooth there.
Oh.
Oh, you can swim.
Oh my god, you can actually swim.
How's the swimming control?
It's fine.
Looks like you're just kind of... It looks similar to walking, except that it just sends you down a little bit when you land in it.
Okay, so I'm not sure why we died.
So you, like, get a leotard on and float up when you die.
Yeah. Game over. Like real game over or fake game over?
So this is kind of an archaic style of... So you can go back to the beginning of the level. To the beginning of level 1.
Right.
So... Yeah, these graphics, they're not too well drawn there. Like, the textures are all kind of the same on that map. And the sprite's pretty big, but the...
What?
Alright, that's interesting.
Okay, I didn't mean to do that. That's great.
That when you fall down a pit, you don't actually die. You have to go into a sort of an underworld stage here.
You can actually die if you just hold down. That's interesting. Alright. Ah, crap. So, okay, this is kind of cool. Oh, and you just get shoved out back here.
You don't lose a life, but this is basically the same thing as losing a life, because if you continue, you wind up here anyway.
You still have to fight your way out. I really want to beat this.
So there's not really any penalty to dying from falling down a pit than to just restarting the level.
You can exit stages too, which is kind of cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, just shoot behind you. That's fair. All right.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
So I assume you have to...
So we got our basic patrolling enemy.
So yeah, the controls are really nice. I guess the main problem I have is you're a huge target, and as nice as the jumping controls are,
it's a little slow. It looks
it's a little bit slow. The left-right movement in particular is just a little bit too slow.
It looks that way. It looks a little frustrating to play.
Did I just drown?
I think you might have drowned. I didn't see any bullets hit you.
And you know, the way that, at least for me right now, the way you can tell is because the bullets are a lot faster than the player character. A lot faster. Like, you can't outrun them. You know? You just, and they're coming down at such an angle that you're gonna... See that?
Yeah, I saw it.
All right, we're gonna do it.
That's not fair.
Here we go.
That's not exactly
fair at all.
You don't want to start. You don't want to start the player in imminent danger in any stage.
Yeah.
You want to give them a few seconds to react.
Missiles and their heat seeking.
Preferably, they should have to move a little bit before any danger happens.
That needs to be player initiated. There's something I've been calling recently the safe room policy, where the first thing you do when you start a game is you have room to explore, and you know it's your choice to move forward before you start to encounter enemies. Like the
safe room policy. Is that did you name it that?
I might have heard it somewhere. I don't know. Because I just wrote the cave story long form.
Oh, okay.
And I talk about it there. How the first room in that game is you have as much time as you want.
Right.
You get to see all the basic things. Yeah. There's water that you can step in. You have to jump to be able to get out. You have to be able to interact with doors. So this game doesn't have that, at least in this level. You know, the first thing that should happen is there should be just a plain stretch of land where you can explore all the different controls, the jumping, ducking, and anything else you might need. You know, but this game. No, I think, did we just go backwards?
Yeah, I think this is the first level. That might be why it was, this is the first level.
Oh, we shouldn't talk about that then. Let's cut all that out.
But, it was a good discussion. It was just our mistake that we went back into the level. But also, they probably shouldn't allow you to go back into the level unless there's a purpose. But maybe there is a purpose in some other levels. Yeah, he just died by going off the top of the screen.
Yeah.
So... there's a lot of games where if you fall off the bottom or top of the screen as the player, you die.
Right.
But I haven't seen one where if the enemy goes off the top and bottom of the screen,
that's a first.
they die.
Okay, that's the other thing. Did you see that missile hit me, but it was like slightly above my head?
Yeah.
But my hitbox is so big that it still hit me.
The hitbox is very large.
In order to attack it, you have to get a very precise jump hit here, which would be it's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, the jumping is a little bit too fast to jump and fall for you to be able to aim that well.
Okay, so I went to path 1. Okay, so that was the first stage. So you can go backwards for some reason?
Yeah, there might be a reason for that later, but since you went all the way back to the beginning, it was the very beginning of the game, so there was nothing. Spit you back out at the map, I guess is why.
Okay. Even these guys are still a little bit close. You don't really have that much time, so you really just got to immediately start attacking.
Yeah, so I think the game does suffer from all the things we talked about, even taking into consideration our mistake. This background's very distracting. It's very, very bright. The trees there are very bright and very jagged and...
What is that?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe
that wasn't there last time.
No, maybe that's a helping feature.
Yeah, power-up dropping thing or something. I don't know.
These guys drop money. All right.
Okay, so we could tell that we were supposed to land on that. It's not the best use. It's not the most well drawn or the best platforming.
No. And right here,
we could tell what we could jump on.
Yeah.
Is that really hard to get in?
Yeah, because if you hold right, as if you're about to jump up there, if you hold right but you hit your head, you don't actually get up there.
Oh, so you have to press right after you jump.
Well, you can do like a short jump, like a short hop.
Oh, you just tap the button.
It looks like that, or it's pretty imprecise. It only seems to work half the time. I'm not sure what the condition is there, but I mean, it's not a big, just a small thing. Why did my face go like that?
Yeah, and also the way that this is laid out, maybe just remove that top layer of rocks so that you can just jump up there more easily. I don't think it would deter from the game. It would actually add to it, I think.
No, yeah. So you have to wonder why that's even there in the first place. It's not really adding anything in particular.
Right.
And that section.
So it's just like a simple level design thing.
Yeah.
That could have been done better.
Maybe it's not as complex as maybe they didn't think that hard about it. Maybe it's not a big deal. It's just one jump, That kind of looks like a Lolo enemy.
Yeah, a little bit.
I wonder who made this. Did you catch that?
I think they're called Tokai. I don't know too much about the company.
All right. I think that's been enough time with this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to be said. It's kind of a mediocre Nintendo title, but...
I'm just going to make the blind assumption that every level is like that. Just a side-scrolling left to right or right to left, and that's...
Yeah, if you haven't hooked the player with awesome gameplay and cool graphics by this point, you're probably not going to hook them. And this is one of those games that just didn't age that well. That might have been kind of cool to play.
Yeah.
Back when it came out, but
I really like the player controls. But as we mentioned, there's just a couple of small issues with how the enemies move in relation to the player, and especially going back to the first stage all the way back to the left. What was that about? I feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of a testament to how similar everything in the game is that we both didn't notice it was the first level.
Yeah.
We probably could have noticed if we were really paying attention, but
I do like the non-linear path you can take here.
Yeah. I do like the world map, even though it is kind of a mess.
Kind of makes
the graphics are kind of a mess here.
And here's the other thing: if you can choose the path which has the fewest amount of nodes here, right?
Yeah.
So you could theoretically play a really, really short version of this game or a really, really long one.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's balanced for difficulty. Like the shorter path maybe has more difficult stages to go through.
Maybe, yeah. I would hope so. I'd hope there's some sort of balancing there, because otherwise you could just beeline.
Yeah, it also gives us some replayability that you might take a different path each time to see something you haven't seen before.
That's true. These levels are relatively short as well.
Right.
So I guess it would take more, a couple playthroughs to see everything. Clash at Demonhead. I'm gonna go check out what this is based on. It's got to be based. It has to be. Especially with the name, I was expecting something very grim. Yeah. All right. Well, so this has been our Monsters episode then, right? Pretty successful. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.